What are your favorite, so you make topicals. I love making topicals. I did this really great recipe with Vanderpump, actually. If you Google my name with Vanderpump and DIY lube recipe, there's like a really great graphic that we made with this awesome recipe on it. But because I love one of my favorite ways, so I love smoking weed for a variety of different reasons. I encourage my patients to do it. I encourage my friends to do it. I encourage women to as well. But one of the best things that I love weed for is for sex. And I love having sex with the weed, like having weed in the topical, in the sex. It's so much fun.
Yes. What benefits do you derive from it though? Like why does it help you? Just because it's additional lubricant, or is it also providing you some relaxation, or what's your vibe?
So that's a great question. So it depends on what strain and what the THC and CBD content variation is between what you're using, right? So for example, so if you have a lot of pain and you're experiencing a lot of pain in your pelvic region, tension in your lower back, experiencing things like dyspareunia vaginismus, pain upon intercourse, or even pain with orgasm, or just soreness in your hip flexors, that type of thing. Topical CBD cannabis is really great for it, because what it helps, it sends a signal to the receptors, tells everybody to calm down, is essentially what it does, and makes everything just feel really, really great. So you can use that topically if you choose not to ingest CBD, or you can ingest CBD, right? Vape it, smoke it, take it as an oil as well to help with some of those problems. But I love to use it topically on my pelvic area if I'm experiencing any pain, especially if I'm on my period and I'm experiencing just some discomfort, right? Using a CBD suppository either in my vagina or in my anus, right, to help with some of that discomfort also makes sex amazing. Period sex, oh my goddess, let's talk about that.
I haven't tried the suppositories. I've been very curious about that.
Fantastic. They're fantastic. Sometimes I just pop one in because I'm like, why not?
Little grounding exercise.
Just a little grounding exercise, because they just make everything just feel, for me, just really just lovely and just gentle. And I just feel, like you said, grounded in my body. I feel it brings me back into connection with my feminine, with my pelvic area, right? With my vagina, with, that my tummy, with all of that part of me. But for women who experience pain, CBD is really great. But if you're looking for more like bigger orgasms and, that kind of that juiciness that you're looking to inspire in your intimate lifestyle, THC, cannabis, and topical by far is amazing, because it helps increase the blood flow, right? It helps bring in the blood flow. It makes everything just feel really, really great. And the great thing I love about topicals is that if you choose to not consume or ingest cannabis, right, you can apply it topically, and you wouldn't necessarily get high. Now, some people do, because here's the thing, if cannabis gets into your bloodstream, right? So if you are using cannabis sexually, right, whether in your anus or in your vagina or even in and around a penis, right, and the skin has many layers of epithelial cells, so it's not going to just like get into your bloodstream. But if you do have any open cuts or not, in your vagina, right, there's really thin layers of skin, right, so things could get into your bloodstream. So you could, if you use a really high THC concentrated topical, become high, but generally speaking, if you apply cannabis to an area topically, that's where it stays. That's where the stimulation stays. Right. So that's why I like it as an alternative, because some people don't like the feeling of like being high, but they really like how it feels, in their genital and their pelvic areas for a variety of different reasons.
Right. When you talk about topicals and you talk about your favorites, are you referring to lubes or creams that you rub on, or the suppositories? What is something that you like the best for sex?
Great question. So it depends on what kind of sex I'm having.
Do tell.
Well, like right? We all know that there's different kinds of sex that we have, right? Not all sex is made the same. Not all sex, is created the same. So, for example, if I'm with my partner and I know that we're gonna have a lot of time, right, and it's more of like a date night, and we're doing like a massage kind of thing, then I'll use I make actually some of my own creams. So I use my Levo. I also use my Lilo. That's a sex toy company. But the Levo, also a pleasure product, but makes infused cannabis products. So I use that, and I make my own different oils. So I make one that's coconut oil based. I make one that's coconut and cacao oil based. I make an olive oil based one so that I can cook with it. I can eat with it. I can massage with it. I can have sex with it. I can do all the different things with it. So if it's a massage night, then, I grab, the coconut oil and the cacao butter because it's like a little bit thicker and it's nice. And then that just goes on my body. So for that, I'll use more of like a higher grade kind of CBD just to really get like our bodies into a really nice, relaxed state. Yeah. But then once things start to kind of turn up, or if I know that, things are going to start to have a little bit of fun, I'm also looking to like get that big, juicy orgasm. I'll either make or buy a high THC oil, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Because if you're using condoms as your barrier method, as your contraception method, as your, you know what I mean? You can't be using any of these oil-based lubricants, and that's something to remember. That's the only challenge to all of that.
Yeah.
But
bless you. Just like take it on the chest.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom.
Right? Also an option, right?
You do.
Well, and that brings me to the other kind of sex that cannabis is really great for, and suppositories are really great for, which is anal sex. Yeah. So if you're into anal, because for all the reasons,
or if you can't get into anal,
cannabis actually changed my whole relationship with anal sex. 111%. Wow. A suppository went in, massage on the outside, just changed my relationship with the experience of it, and being able to actually get comfortable and receive a penetrative partner, and like be in it, and then like just gently, slowly, you know what I mean? And just have that play. It completely changed it. It's a great alternative, and it's a great way to experience another level of pleasure. Right? And that's what I think cannabis really does I know it does for me. And I hope one of the reasons why I talk about cannabis and sex is to encourage other women to explore other ways to experience pleasure and invite pleasure in their lives. And cannabis really helps us become connected and present in our bodies, in the situation, in the intimacy, right? It creates ritual, it creates intention. We have to think about our usage with it, right? We have to think about why we're using it. We have to think how we're using it. It really brings us into the presence of our pleasure. And that's why I love cannabis, especially for women, because it allows us, it's a tool that allows women to take their power back in the experience of pleasure. And that's so important.